Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds. Heaven Godspeed.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Rainwater is unsafe for long-term human consumption everywhere, according to a new study. That is because the atmospheric levels of toxic forever chemicals are far too high, scientists say. The term forever chemicals is a reference to hazardous pollutants known as perfluoroalkyl substances, or PFAS. Forever chemicals, what they are and how they affect our planet. Continue watching to find out more.
Continue to make war, so the whole world will continue to curse you till you land in hell.
Talofa, noble-minded viewers. That means hello in the Samoan language. My name is Vasa. The respectable people of American Samoa are thankful for people like you who are conscious of the environment, thus helping to preserve our planet. Welcome to our show, Forever Chemicals, what they are and how they affect our planet. On today's program, we'll introduce forever chemicals, colorless, odorless, and tasteless, but dangerous substances that exist among us but most of us are not aware of. Forever chemicals, scientifically known as per- and polyfluorinated alkyl substances, or PFAS, were introduced in the 1940s and have been used widely ever since. PFAS are a class of thousands of manufactured chemicals used to make fluoropolymer coatings and products that resist heat, oil, stains, grease, and water. PFAS are called forever chemicals because the chains of linked carbon and fluorine atoms they contain are extremely strong. They don't break down in the environment, can move through soils, contaminate drinking water sources, and build up in fish, people, wildlife, and even the human body. In our daily life, we are used to using products that are made of PFAS, but the chemicals are now considered highly toxic. The Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry says exposure to PFAS may lead to multiple health issues and a higher risk for testicular, kidney, liver, and pancreatic cancer, increased cholesterol levels, weakened immunity, reproductive problems, and low birth weight. PFAS are used in a staggering array of consumer products and commercial applications, including clothing, furniture, adhesives, non-stick frying pans, firefighting foams, toiletries, and even food packaging.
Recently, 9 European NGOs analysed about 40 types of food packaging sold in the EU. About 30 of them had been treated with PFAS.
In paper or cardboard packaging, it is an anti-fat or anti-stain used to avoid a fat halo forming on the bag of chips, for example, or to avoid getting your fingers dirty. So it has a very limited advantage compared to a possible risk of contamination of the consumer's body.
The potential harmfulness of these substances is debated by the scientific community. The European Food Safety Authority takes the risk seriously. In the next 10 years, it has divided the tolerable dose of PFAS by 1,700.
Food packaging companies are working to produce more environmentally friendly products, in addition to phasing out PFAS as they might soon be required to do so by law.
The European Commission announced at the end of April that it was considering a gradual ban on certain uses of PFAS as part of a major review of chemical legislation currently being negotiated between Brussels and the member states.
After decades of heavy use, PFAS are now everywhere, even in rainwater in the world's most remote places. Rainwater is unsafe for long-term human consumption everywhere, according to a new study. That is because the atmospheric levels of toxic forever chemicals are far too high. Scientists say the term forever chemicals is a reference to hazardous pollutants known as perfluoroalkyl substances, or PFAS. PFAS are known to negatively affect the immune system, with the full impact on human and ecological health still unknown. Guidelines surrounding PFAS levels have decreased in many nations as mounting evidence reveals their ill effects. The researchers called it a surprise to find rain everywhere to be contaminated above the guidelines. In the 1940s, manufacturers developed thousands of PFAS for non-stick cookware, stain-resistant fabrics, and waterproof clothing. The dangers of PFAS has caused the majority of manufacturers to stop producing them, except China. While cleanup technologies to remove the chemicals exist, they are too costly and inefficient on a large scale. There is not much that can be done except wait for decades for levels to decline. Not only have researchers found forever chemicals in rainwater, but also in our tap water. The BBC recently worked with the University of Greenwich and Manchester Metropolitan University to conduct a study of water in England. The researchers studied 45 tap water samples and found that almost half of the samples contained PFAS at a level exceeding the European Food Standards Agency safety levels of 2.2 nanograms per liter, or Ng per L. However, they did not exceed the current safety level in England and Wales set by the Drinking Water Inspectorate at 100 nanograms per liter, or Ng per L, for PFAS chemicals. Scientists are concerned that the guidelines for PFAS in drinking water are too high and action must be taken to reduce levels. Countries in Europe are looking into enforcing European parameters next year. Similar issues were detected in the United States. PFAS were found in thousands of cities across 49 states. While the federal government does not regulate the chemicals, the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, warned that they pose a greater danger to human health than regulators previously thought.
Scientists with the Environmental Working Group in Washington have detected some amount of PFAS in groundwater or drinking water in nearly 2,800 American communities across 49 states. The contamination often linked to nearby industrial sites, landfills, airports, and military bases where the chemicals may have seeped into the ground. We're walking on top of a huge reservoir of PFAS. You can't see it, but it's right beneath us.
Yeah, it's very...
University of Arizona hydrologist Bo Gua walked us through where scientists suspect some of Tucson's PFAS contamination began. He says the heat-resistant chemicals never break down, calling them forever chemicals that leave a traceable trail through the soil. You call this a ticking time bomb of a problem.
Yeah, they basically fulfill the characteristics of a ticking time bomb, right? It's very dangerous, and they're migrating very slowly.
State and local officials believe firefighting foam laden with the chemicals permeated soil around Tucson's airport and Air National Guard facility decades ago, only now reaching groundwater wells miles away.
The firefighting foam, they have told us that they either, if it was used on the runway, they'd hose the stuff into the soil. If it was used in the hangars, they'd dilute it and dump it down the sewer system.
Councilman Steve Kozacek has been pressing the military to expedite cleanup and remediation, especially as climate change fuels historic drought.
We're in the desert. By the way, we're in a 12-year drought in the city of Tucson right now. So there will come a time when the Colorado River water is no longer available, and we're going to be reliant on our groundwater.
This map from the Arizona Department of Environmental Quality shows PFAS concentrations in groundwater around 10,000 parts per trillion, far above the EPA's 70 parts per trillion advisory, stretching from the airport to wells that deliver water to the treatment plant. Water quality analyst Sydney Evans estimates more than 200 million Americans could be drinking some amount of PFAS in their tap water every day. Congress has started to take action. In a bipartisan vote last month, the House approved a bill that would force EPA to declare PFAS hazardous and establish a national drinking water limit, requiring water systems to start filtering it out. The Senate's bipartisan infrastructure deal includes billions to help communities get the job done.
The EPA is now thankfully working on PFAS regulation and has issued a proposal to designate two of the most widely used PFAS chemicals, PFOA and PFOS, as hazardous substances as one of the steps in the process of cleaning up contamination. The great news is scientists have recently found a way to degrade forever chemicals with simple ingredients commonly found in soap. Even though this approach doesn't work on all PFAS compounds, the mix of soap and an organic solvent can destroy PFAS found in shampoos, fast food wrappers, and fire-dousing foams, and could help clean up contamination in thousands of sites worldwide.
No to vegan, so you can die young in a languishing fashion.
Devoted viewers, thank you for your company today. Coming up next is Dr. Sebastião Salgado, celebrated photojournalist with love for nature and the environment. May your lives be filled with happiness and contentment in heaven's divine light.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds. Hell not reach.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/PE.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule et suprememastertv.com/PE.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule y suprememastertv.com/PE.
รายการของเรามีให้หลายภาษาโปรดดู suprememastertv.com/schedule และ suprememastertv.com/PE